Everyone and welcome back to Heroes on Fire. Now we have our second matchup. This is Team Bak versus Team Mouse Control. This is a bracket. Winner will move on, obviously. Loser go into the lower bracket. So let's get straight on to the draft. Now, as we can see here, now let me just quickly flip back to the bracket. Bak actually had the first map ban, so Mouse Control got the first ban and the first pick. You can see they banned out the Tassadar, forcing Bak to either ban Stitches or something else, and then Mouse Control contains Stitches, and that's exactly what happened. Bak banned out a Hammer, which is very interesting since the map is Cursed Hollow.
It is. That's a new. It wouldn't be an uncommon ban to see on Dragonshire, and although Hammer is now getting more popular on the other maps, it's unusual to see a banned on any other map.
Yeah.
So interesting to see. Maybe Bak have had some bad experiences against the Hammer. That one's just a little bit of a sensitive issue for them, and they decided to just remove it completely and not deal with that. So.
However, that does leave Mouse Control with Stitches, and
Indeed.
I've heard from the grapevine that Razalat is a pretty good Stitches player. I would not want to be against that. Then Bak's next pick, they pick up the Reyna and the Zeratul. Again, EU scene favouring that Zeratul quite heavily.
Unusual to see a Reyna pick. Like, Reyna does get picked from time to time, but this early is unusual.
Yeah, I mean,
So
he's not an uncommon pick, but first pick is a little odd. Moving on to Mouse Control, then pick up the Tychus and the Brightwing. Tychus is still probably the strongest ranged assassin in the game, maybe Vala.
Who, interestingly, hasn't been picked at all this game.
Yeah, she was completely ignored. Brightwing just a solid support. Great, especially if Stitches takes amplified healing. Could be very good with that. The double health bar of Tychus also meaning that they don't need so much burst heal, which you don't get necessarily with the Brightwing. Bak's next two picks were Uther and Diablo. They didn't really need to pick up the Uther, since unless Mouse Control are going to go for a double support lineup, which they wouldn't normally go Brightwing Uther, it'd normally be like a Rhaegar Brightwing, a Malfurion Uther, that sort of thing. They could have left Uther for last pick and maybe picked up a high priority heroes, but interesting that they've taken Diablo.
It is. It's an unusual one to see. I can't say I've seen many Diablo games since forever, but I don't know about you, but I'm excited to see it.
Yeah, definitely. Especially since, again, Arthas wasn't touched at all. He's meant to be top-tier warrior behind Stitches. Last two picks for Mouse Control were Zagara and Thrall. Just solid assassins. Zagara adds a lot of control with her Maw. Hunter Killers do a lot of damage.
And she's a very strong solo laner as well as Zagara. Like, you often see teams will put Zagara on her own bottom, and then should the enemy team decide to all go for the tributes, Zagara just gets free reign in that bottom lane, and the AFK Zagara push is scary.
And because it's such a large map, even though Bak do have a Zeratul, if Zagara ever feels like there's not enough enemy heroes on the minimap, she can just back off, because it is a large map, so it's difficult for them to get round before she realises. Last pick for Bak then was the Nazeebo. It kind of makes sense now that Bak picked up the Uther, since Uther is a good counter pick to the Nazeebo, so Mouse Control might have picked it as a thing. However, Nazeebo does get interrupted by a lot of things: grenade, hook, slam, polymorph,
Like, particularly the sundering and the hook. Nazeebo is going to have to be really, really careful with this positioning.
Yeah,
he's really going to have to think carefully about where he decides to pop that Ravenous Spirit.
But we have seen Ravenous Spirit do a lot of work and turn games around, so...
Absolutely. Even in the worst of positions, sometimes people still manage to pull it out of the bag. So I look forward to seeing it, see if he manages to make it work.
So now that the draft's over with, let's get into the game.
Heroes.
Okay, and getting into the game on Cursed Hollow, we are going to have Mouse Control there on the blue team on the left-hand side. We've got Praedin on the Brightwing. As I suspected, Razalat is playing that Stitches. Philly Burke on the Tychus. Bota on the Thrall, and Zinwin is on that Zagara.
Then over on the right we have Bak with Huzix on the Diablo. We have Dane on the Reyna. On the Zeratul we have Ultimate Nox, who for ease we should just call Nox. Then on Uther we have Klurig. And finally on the Nazeebo we have 100 Kilo.
Yes, who's soloing top as it appears. Again, just taking the watchtowers on both sides.
It looks like we've got three heading towards bottom lane, although they are hanging around for a little bit, maybe hoping to have something happen in the mid lane. And then we've got Nazeebo up on the top on his own, and blue team actually are also gathering around the mid lane.
We have all 5 heroes trying to party bush, and we've got 4 heroes from Team Bak. Trying to party brush.
The ganks and the counter ganks.
Dan is showing himself. Ooh.
Very hesitant to go in on this one. They're all waiting to pick their moment. I guess the Stitches is waiting just to pick up a hook if Dane
Brightwing
decides to move slightly too far.
Brightwing is in fact bottom, soaking that lane. Diablo has moved down there.
The patience coming out of both teams here. They're both just sitting, lying in wait. And I mean, all three lanes are being soaked, so they can afford to just wait. They're not missing out on anything.
Despite having a slightly longer party bush, it does seem like Mouse Control has a small advantage lead. Small experience lead.
Alright, and Mouse Control have given up and they've moved their 2 roamers up to the top lane.
Ooh, good hook on the Zebo there. 100 Kilo gets caught out. Zombie also trying to save himself, but he's in with the Thrall, and Bota hammers him down. Very good hook.
It seems like Bark decided that was their moment at the same time in the mid lane. So I saw they moved out, but nothing appears to have happened. So maybe they just got bored and decided to just start laning for a while.
Uther is heading down towards bottom, where Praedin is getting bullied a little bit by Diablo. We see a couple of heroes mid. Razalat on that Stitches has returned mid, maybe looking for another gank.
Zerator's in a bit of a scary place. Surprised he didn't get spotted and caught out there. They tried, but missed with a number of different abilities.
Does a little bit of chip damage to Stitches, who just eats Zerator a little bit. Heals it all back up. We've got 2 strong solo laners in an all-out brawl in top lane, though. Very.
Both trying to push each other. We still have a lot of heroes gathered around this mid lane.
Yeah.
There is a lot of contention over that one. Although, because of it, Bark is not soaking bottom lane at all. So they're going to be losing
Mouse
out
Control is, and if they need any healing whatsoever, Brightwing can just Zed up there, teleport, phase shift right on top of an ally.
And you can see the impact of it, because they're already a full level ahead, despite the fact they've only had 1 kill.
Zinwin getting caught out a little bit here. Nox, in the end, got turned around on and killed. 100 Kilo got hooked fantastically by Razalat and picked up.
Good timing for them as well. 2 kills just before the tribute.
Zinwin looks like he's going to get killed by Dan and Physix. Billy Burke coming in with his overkill. They pick up another 2. Klurig just about makes it behind his wall.
And suddenly the kill difference widens.
Yeah, 4
Easy
for 1
tribute
right there.
for them now.
Bota picks it up, 0 contestation.
And now looking at the talents quickly, there's nothing that's tremendously surprising, except we've got Vampiric Assault on the Zeratul instead of what you would normally see in Gathering Power. Going for a bit of extra sustain instead of the burst damage.
Yeah.
And the Stitches has opted to go for a bit of a hybrid build. He's gone for the slam damage increase at level 1, but then at level 4 he's decided to take amplified healing. Looking to go for a bit of the half and half.
Yeah, very good with the Brightwing, who doesn't have such high burst heals, especially if it doesn't go blink heal. So very useful for just, staying up top when they don't have something like an Uther. Now, interestingly, Nazeebo may have picked the wrong talent because he has gone with Blood Ritual, which is the mana and health granted by his trait.
Interesting. Could be a preference thing. Could just be that he wants more sustain whilst he's laning. However, it could affect his durability in team fights quite significantly.
Yeah, normally you get the one which increases your health and mana permanently for every kill affected, whilst you have your trait dot on the target. Puts Nazeebo's health pool very, very high in the late game. Get a good few stacks of that. Now the second tribute has spawned now. Looks like Barker in a good position to take it. Done.
Big rotation over there to try and take it. Not being contested at all by Mouse Control. They're just going to leave that one.
Instead, they are taking their boss down bottom, a very early one, 4 minutes in. As soon as the boss spawns, they took it.
Pretty much, yeah. That's a strong trade. I think that's a good trade for the tribute. It didn't matter too much to them. They know they're ahead, so they can get future tributes. They'll definitely be level 10 by the time the next one
That
happens.
big experience lead means that they are almost a full 3 levels, or they were briefly for a moment, but they're just over 2 levels ahead now. As a response, it does look like Barker are going to go take their boss.
They know it's a safe time to do so, because they can see the whole enemy team is down at the bottom. So they know it's going to be fine, although this is going to be a definite fort taken for Mouse Control down the bottom. And they are not going to get up to top in time to defend that, so it's just going to be a trade in forts.
Oh, now
trade a
unfortunately
fort
for
for fort.
Bark, the tribute is spawning at the bottom, so they're going to have to completely rotate down, not support their boss, whilst Mouse Control's boss is still high up on the health there. Bota just taking the watchtower.
And Zagara is a strong hero to defend, so she might be able to stop this boss before it does too much damage.
However, it is 4v5, and yet Mouse Control do have their ultimates. Darn getting hooked and killed very, very quickly there. Kurig caught out, and the Zebo wall of zombies coming down just to block out Bota. Good play, but Kurig is going to fall here. The overkill too strong from Tychus.
It looks like Bark is just going to back out and let them have this tribute. Although the Uther bullies the Bright Ring for a while, just delays him, longs out his life a little bit, but he gets it in the end.
Now it's a bit risky taking these giants here. The Diablo flames coming out have shown that that's happening. Good hook, but gets instantly pushed away, and then wow, the Diablo is blown up, same as Nox. They just get destroyed again by that Tychus overkill.
Now, there was definitely a slightly questionable decision when they knew the whole enemy team was still so close by, but I guess when you're behind, sometimes you've got to make risky plays. You've got to catch up the difference somehow. And they decided to give it a go there. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for them.
Just extending Mouse Control's experience lead, is an odd plural to say. Zagara took both walls, took the wall and both towers up top. As the rest of Team Mouse Control rotate round and just take middle. Now Zimwind and Dan are just trading some blows with Huzix coming in for reinforcements, but Zimwind gets out nice and easy. They do know that the Reina and the Diablo are right there though, so they might get caught out. Oh, the hook barely misses.
Ooh, and with the tribute being so nearby, a fight here can easily decide who gets that tribute, and if Bark don't manage to get it, then that's a big deal.
Oh, Uther got eaten. That's really unfortunate since he is their support. Razalat again, fantastic with the hook and the gorge. They have a 2 talent point advantage, a 4 level advantage to Mouse Control here.
And with the curse as well, this force is going to go down easily.
Good more on the Reina. Looks like he might drop. No. His heal procs. Oh, fantastic hook by Razalat. Picks him up, but I don't think they'll get the kill on them. Instead, they end up killing the Nox. Oh, the Thrall comes in with the Sundering in the background, picks up the Reina at the end as well there. Another 3 for O. Or 4 if you count the Uther at the start. We still don't see level 10 for Team Bark. Blink will. Let's say Blink Hill taken on Brightwing there. Thrall gets overpowered over, but it's not too much of an issue since the fort's not taking it. Oh, Apocalypse from the Diablo. Do manage to pick up the Thrall there.
And they might be able to pick up the Stitches too by the looks of it. He's struggling to get away. But the speed boost from the Brightwing might just get him out of there.
Nox is chasing.
Quick polymorph.
Very well done. Oh, man, just about get out there. Turns around, the Razalat does. He's going to slam. No, he does end up falling, but for Nox. Kurig and 100 Kilo falling low to that overkill. Curse is over, but Zagara has pushed down bottom. They will end up getting a keep for this. Fantastic use for Mouse Control. Now, Zinwin looks like he could be in a bad position here. The Diablo just come to take the watchtower. Zinwin will maybe look to Hearthstone out. Oh, he'll just run away. Kha'Zix does a little charge there. Shadow charge.
Right, now with all the forts down, suddenly Barker being kept on their side of the map pretty heavily. Forced to stick in base and defend. There's a lot of map control over on the side of mouse control. In fact, they're in control of not just the mouse, but also the map. And
can't believe you just did that. Brightwing took the with Bribe took the Siege Giants up at top for mouse control. That'll push out as long as they keep Team Buck down here. Oh, good hook on Dan there, by the Stitches. Massive Sunder splitting up the team. Kha'Zix is in place, but that's a fantastic Void Prison. Bota needs to get into it quick before he gets killed, but he does end up dying in the end. Kha'Zix gets instantly gorged. Reina's dropping low. Zebo's trying to get out, maybe find a good Ravenous Spirit. Can't find one. Oh, it's already been used, in fact. It was probably interrupted by the slap. Another hook by Razalat there. And that is a full team wipe for just the Thrall. Fantastic Void Prism. really set up that kill, but then they didn't have anything else to follow it up with.
Now, that fight started looking so good for Buck, but unfortunately the execution wasn't there after the start, and it just managed to get turned around very heavily for Mouse Control.
It looks like Mouse Control is just going to go push in this middle keep here. They might look to rotate and take Buck's boss up in the top lane. Now again we have Critterize taking on the Brightwing, who did also take Cleanse for level 7. Pick up the keep.
Lowering the amount of healing that Brightwing's able to do, but sometimes you need to stop people getting stunned.
Especially with the stuns on Luther. Now Zinwin looks a little bit out of position here. Might just be able to back off, especially with the Thrall support. And Brightwing comes in on Bota. Big Sunder there. Manages to single out Kha'Zix, whose Apocalypse does go off, gets Zinwin and Razalat. The overkill on Tychus going down. He uses first aid to keep himself fully topped up. 100 killer gets hooked and blown up. Wow. Team Barker in a very, very precarious position. All of their heroes are about half health.
Another one-sided fight, and then they proceed to just go and start taking the enemy team's boss. And if they really want to just press their advantage, they can easily just back off and then take their own boss. Or if they want, they can just try to go for it here and just push in with it and try and end.
But we see a very odd build on the Zeratul. Like you mentioned, the Vampiric Assault, but he has also gone Burning Rage.
Which is unusual to see, because you don't normally want to be in melee range for that long as a Zeratul. You want to be in and out, so you won't really get the sustained value from it.
And he does get picked off and killed there. Kha'Zix on the Diablo gets eaten, polymorphed, and just killed. Another 2 heroes dead, making it a 3v5 again with the boss pushing in. Very promising for Team Mouse Control. But all 5 here, this is the last keep up. Both bottom and middle lanes are pushing in. Game looks all but over. 100 kilo gets... Oh wow, that's Sunder pushing right back into the team after the charging wolf, I've forgotten his name now, stunned him out.
Feral Spirit.
That's the one. Void Prism goes out, locks 4 down, but there was no follow-up damage on anything there. Can't take advantage of that. Very good Void Prism. And they just attack the core and finish it. A very, very quick game on there for Mouse Control.
Definitely a dominating position for most of the game. Team is looking very, very strong, and I'm definitely excited to see what they bring in the next game.
Yeah, interesting to not see Lightning Breath on the Diablo. Because that's what we tend to see a little bit more the very, very occasional time he's picked up. Apocalypse did some work, but there just wasn't any follow-up to the stuns. It always seemed to be a quick, I have to use Apocalypse before I die sort of thing. Mouse Control just absolutely crushing. So yes, Mouse Control win game 1 of this best of 3, and moving on to the next game. I felt like I spoke